join us today. You are a part of a community of mentors and mentees from across the world. Currently, we have over 300 entrepreneurs and mentor makers in need of your expertise. And by the end of this session, we hope you will be able to set your schedule so that entrepreneurs can connect at a time that works best for you. So today we will walk through the steps of setting your first session and answer any questions that you may have about mentor makers. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. If any questions arise during this session, please place them in the Q&A, and we are happy to answer those questions at the end of the program. Please keep your mics muted until the Q&A portion of the program as well. So let's get started with a get to know you activity. So what I want you to do is think back to a time when you were growing up. Who was your earliest mentor? Was it a coach, teacher, or a family member? Who was that one person that influenced your life? And what made that person so memorable? So please place your answers in the chat. And then I would like to invite a few people to unmute themselves and their mics and share with us. Would anyone like to share? Swim coach, Alexander. Thank you. My sister. What made your swim coach so special?
Hi guys, hi everyone. My swim coach was a very special person because he had an incredible history and he was an incredible man. He was in the national team of, I'm actually a German, by the way, and my swim coach was from Eastern Germany, which at the time when he grew up was still not a part of Germany. And he was in the Olympic team and was not allowed to participate for political reasons. He was also tortured by the regime, and he then escaped Eastern Germany by swimming. So he ate two whole chickens, and wrapped himself in Vaseline. And then in the night, he swam out of the border north, out in the North Sea. And he would have to dive in between 50 to 70 meters under the water to escape the lights that were sort of searching and doing patrolling around the coastline. And he was then found, he just kept swimming, and he was then found on a floating device, I don't know how you call it in English, the next day, where some shipper caught him and he was like hanging on it. And this picture was also then it went through the press in Germany. He was found as sort of the one that escaped the regime by swimming. It's absolutely impossible to think of it. And that was just a type of who he was. He was very unconventional, very charismatic, and that was also his style of coaching. He had super confidence. He would always boost your confidence in the first place. And he would allow things others would never allow. He would have very unorthodox training methods, very creative. And so just this personality, I remember when I was a child, I didn't know anyone like that. I always thought when I went to a swim lesson, I didn't even like swimming that much. But when I went to a swim lesson and I knew he was there, I thought, wow, I need to perform. I need to impress this guy. I need to live up to his standard. And I thought, as a coach, I think that's what you're looking for. You look for somebody who can really help you develop further. That's what's really essential. I mean, I have applied for this program as a mentor, and I have to say, admittedly, I have no ambition to be like that because I don't think I can manage that standard. I can keep up with his standard, but if I can be a little bit like him, then I'm hopefully able to, pass a little bit on of that spirit.
Thank you so much for sharing. And absolutely, there are entrepreneurs out there that need to get that legacy that you bring from your swim coach. What an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Pleasure.
Anyone else would like to share?
Yeah, I can share. I was reminded of my third grade teacher, recently. And it's been many years ago. I don't want to age myself now, but after so many years, I still remember her because when I was in third grade and second grade, I was going to school in a local language, but then she would say, you should learn English. You should. So she would spend her own money because we were not very sort of wealthy or anything. We are sort of below average, below middle class, as they say. And so she would spend her own money, get me books in English, and she would encourage me to read, and she would take extra classes. And today, I have a book, I speak on stage, and all credit goes to her because she, you know, triggered something in me that was there, but none of us knew. So God bless her wherever she is.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi. That last part, something in you that you didn't think was there, rather, right? Thank you so much for sharing. So as you mentor, I encourage you all to think about the mentors who have positively impacted your life and how you can use those experiences to inspire others. And just as those mentors, those coaches, the teacher inspired you and shaped your early life, think about entrepreneurs. They are learning and growing to build their business. And mentorship is an essential element to their success. Now let's continue with our program. I'm excited to hand it over to our executive director, Nicola, to talk about the why behind Mentor Makers.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you all for joining, truly, and for your commitment and your inspiration as to what has brought you with us today. It feels somewhat contrarian, right, to even say that we need to share a why behind why a mentorship program like this is needed. But I think perhaps sometimes for those of us that are so fortunate to work beside so many incredible entrepreneurs each and every day, there's a realization that not everyone in this world has equal access to support in the ways that they need. Entrepreneurship, as you've already heard and has been shared in this program, is a lifelong journey. There is never a moment, I think, when any of us go, oh, you got it all figured out. It's okay. I can just dial it in from here. That just doesn't exist, right? Markets are ever moving. Talent is ever changing. Financials are ever moving forward and backwards and flat. And then there's COVID. And so the very, very moment from which entrepreneurs knew how to connect and ask for help was stripped away from them in a way that had never, ever, ever been imagined, at least from my perspective, until being in that moment. And so one amazing encounter that happened in a course of saying, what can we do for our entrepreneurs who are struggling in this moment in a way that has not ever been so realized on scale as an equalizer for all, was an amazing conversation with Dr. Ravi, who you've already heard from. Dr. Ravi is not only perhaps one of the most compassionate individuals that really believes mentorship is a movement for all, but equally was inspired to say with us, there's so much more that we could be doing in this moment for all of those who do so much for us. And let's face it, at the end of the day, without entrepreneurs, not only would life be incredibly dull, but we wouldn't be solving the problems that need to be solved right now. We need our entrepreneurs now more than ever. And yet equal access for their help is a very difficult and tough thing to do. So we thought in big and bold ways, just like our entrepreneurs do, what if we changed that? What if we made a global commitment to bringing forward equal access for mentorship for all? And while we certainly hope and are inspired by lifelong friendships that already seem to have been bonded and formed in the platform, we knew that there was power in the micro as well as the macro of entrepreneurship and mentors together. And what I specifically mean by that is that 30 minutes can change a life. It can change a life. It can change moments where an entrepreneur feels so very vulnerable and so without answers and so depleted, to saying, because this one person leaned in and said, how can I help? They moved forward to fight another day. They found sustaining inside of themselves and answers that they didn't see in front of them. Even though we know most entrepreneurs have the answers inside of themselves, we all need that nourishment. We all need that confidence. We all need that coach to say, you got this. Let's think completely outside the box. Let's ask questions that we didn't know how to raise. And let's dream differently than we did yesterday. And so all of you that have said you want to be part of this, thank you. And we have big numbers behind us because, again, our entrepreneurs deserve that, right? So we plan on reaching 50,000 new mentors through this movement and deploying 1 million hours. And those are big numbers. But again, I think when we look at the bigness that our entrepreneurs are bringing forward in the world, I'd say, can we do anything less? So thank you to each and every one of you for joining us in this journey, for believing in the importance of the micro and the macro, for seeing the skills and the superpowers that you all have as experiences that our entrepreneurs need now more than ever. And for most of all, just leaning in to say, how can I help? I know from Ravi, myself, and every single partner that is part of this, we know it takes a village, and you are our village. And so thank you. Really, thank you. Kemi, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. And now I would love to introduce our partner at MentorCloud, Yasmin.
Thank you so much, Kami, and thank you, Nicola, for those very inspiring words. I feel every time I listen to you, I'm just so ready for the next phase and for us to reach those 1 million hours and 50,000 mentors. And so with that, I have the absolute pleasure to show you the platform and introduce some of the latest updates that we have. And so can everyone see my screen? Perfect. Find a mentor in yourself. Find a mentor for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. So as mentors, you have the ability to see all of the other mentors on the platform. So you can scroll down and see who else is there. And currently we have over 500 mentors on the platform, which is really exciting. In the Learn tab, you're able to see all the program resources that we have available for you. So if you have any questions on how to do anything, this is a good place to go and learn. But most importantly, in the dashboard, this is the place where you can go and open new sessions. So all you have to do is go and find the date, the time. You can also create your own Zoom link, or we can offer the MentorCloud's video meeting link, and you can add a session after you perhaps talk about what you want to discuss during the session. Once you have connected with a mentee, you're able to message each other. And this is a place where you can reschedule for the mentee to also send you any materials such as maybe a deck or presentation. This is the place to do it. And let's see. If the meeting needs to be rescheduled, you can also message each other. As mentors, you have the ability to move an existing session to the future. So you don't have to cancel it. You can just reschedule it directly on the platform. And yes, so that's just a quick overview of the platform. And one last thing I want to share is that we're going to be doing a raffle and offering a Starbucks gift coffee for 3 of the mentors. So those who complete the survey at the end will be entered into the raffle. Thank you so much, and over to you, Kami.
Thank you, Yasmin. Before we get started to open up our Q&A, I want to introduce to you our partner at MentorCloud, Dr. Ravi.
Thank you, Kami. And Nicola, thank you for those very kind words. You know, I always believe that one conversation can change your destiny. And that's how my life has been. I can very clearly relate to 5 conversations in my life that changed the whole trajectory of how I came from a small, town in Vijayawada, India to where I am today. So I encourage all of you to have those conversations, because it was one such conversation that, Nicola was referring to. Did we know what we will co-create? No. Did we know exactly what we will do? No. Do we even know that we will be even working together? No. We knew none of it, but we were open. I always say, if you want anything filled into a to a vessel, the vessel has to be opened first, number one. And second is, even if you put the purest of food in a vessel, if the vessel is not clean, then of course the food is going to get not clean, right? So having conversations with those people with the right intentions and having the right goals, and then that's what creates this unknown possibilities that we didn't know before the conversation. So Nicola and I were just talking. We were very excited about helping entrepreneurs at the most important time in perhaps in our lifetime. I hope all of us don't have to go through one more pandemic, but this is the moment when all of us should step up and really offer our time and our wisdom, because we may not have infinite amount of money, but we can have infinite amount of compassion and also share our wisdom with entrepreneurs. Like Nicola said, many of the entrepreneurs I mentor, all they need is, hey, I'm there for you. Just call me. And a lot of times I may not be even giving some silver bullet answer to them, but just by talking to them, they find answers, they find comfort, they find confidence, and they find the community that gives them that level of comfort to be able to move forward in their journeys. So it is an experiment, and we'll continue to learn. We didn't have all the answers, but we knew we had to do something. And to see so many of you and so many that couldn't come today to come in and say, yeah, we are with you on this journey. And we wanted to start walking first. And I give the example of Mahatma Gandhi. When he did the longest, or the 30-mile march, he didn't send out a tweet or a Facebook message or a TikTok video saying, hey guys, I'm going here, whoever wants to join. Movements never happen like that. Movements are created at that moment. And Nicola and I said, let's start this movement, see what happens. And we had so many partners who said, we are with you. So many mentors who said, we are with you. So many entrepreneurs who said, thank you for doing this. All it takes is one good entrepreneur out there who could otherwise have stopped on this journey, that we have the ability to get them back on their feet and help them. So please share your wisdom, share your time with us, and tell 10, 20 other people, because to get to 50,000, we can't do it alone. We don't want to be sending Facebook messages or TikTok videos. We want all of us to be that Mahatma Gandhis, where we walk the walk and talk the talk, and I'm sure all of us are surrounded by 10, 20, 30 people who really care for a better world. And so I call each one of you to think about who else can be part of this journey. So when we reach the destination, we're all happy, and we'll have a big Mentor Makers party, maybe near the Nasdaq tower. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. So we are now going to open it up for Q&A. So I'll ask you all, what questions do you have for us about Mentor Makers, or getting started with your first session, or scheduling your first session on the Mentor